Welcome to In the Node. My name's Jesse. I'm a sales executive here at Nagios.
Hello, my name is Christopher. I am a marketing manager here at Nagios.
Hi, my name is Grant, and I'm an intern here at Nagios, part of the video team.
Wonderful. Well, today we'll be talking about motorsport racing and how Nagios could be utilized to monitor the sport itself. I guess we'll be talking a little bit about the cars and maybe a little bit about the way fans can potentially utilize Nagios to monitor the data from those as well for the races. So before we jump into it, let's talk a little bit how we got into motorsport racing. So Chris, why don't you tell us when and how you got into motorsport racing?
Motorsport racing, you mean drifting and like slamming my Miata into the wall?
Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, that's the only motorsport racing I'm doing.
Hell yeah.
Right. Nothing in particular. I mean, I've always loved racing ever since I was a kid, playing Gran Turismo 4 with the Mazda 787B. Best freaking car of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Oh my
sick.
God. I mean, for me personally, the first, I'd always catch glimpses of, NASCAR on the TV or hear it referenced in, King of the Hill and stuff. So that's my experience. Pretty light, but I enjoy the aspect of just laps and fast cars and
I think he likes the crashing part.
oh yeah,
The crashing part, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when the car hits the fence and the crowd's like, oh my God.
flies.
I think that's why most people watch NASCAR, probably.
They're like, come on, somebody fuck up.
Yeah. Personally, I prefer the ones like F1 and IMSA, FIA, some of the endurance races, because they're not only going left. So there's a lot more elements to it. I mean, basically the big three things that make it interesting are the engineering, the technology, teamwork. Obviously, there's a ton of other elements in there like weather and luck, obviously, is going to help you win a lot of races. But there's just a lot of different factors that go into a successful race. So,
Yep.
I guess for me, it was the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is actually coming up here in June, which, if you don't know, is a 24-hour long endurance race. So I was not into racing at all and just turned on HBO one day and saw a 24 hours at Le Mans. And I had no idea that there could be a race that is 24 hours straight. Just the idea of a car running for 24 hours, 3 racers managing your tires.
That's insane.
It's wild. And then I found out that there's many other leagues that kind of all roads lead to Le Mans, this big 24-hour super race. So, just all the different elements that go into it just makes it such an interesting sport to follow, because I personally don't follow any sports at all outside of racing, basically. And yeah, it's definitely a different thing to take in. So you'd mentioned drifting. Have you ever gone to any of these races? Because obviously technology
drifting
takes place in, certain sanctioned events for the drifting, right?
Usually in the drifting scene, it's not really a race, but it's more like performance based. Like, I can't tell you exactly because I'm just one of the random runt Miata guys that slides this car around the track every now and then, but I haven't gone anything particular here yet besides Brainerd Speedway down in Minneapolis or down in Brainerd, and it's a lot of fun. Like, drifting is incredibly difficult. It's difficult. Like, the learning curve is extremely difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it's like a nice art form and the balance. I don't go to any competitive stuff, I would say. It's more of like getting a feel for stuff. I got a couple of people in the car scene that are kind of like guiding me and directing me, but not particularly, no. But overall, like, the scene is nice. You have people that have really, really nice built cars, really down to the T. And then you have drift missiles out there, like the BMW E36s that are completely clapped out, that people are just like run them into the wall. No fucks given. And then there's Miata boys like me that are just like, oh yeah, let's fucking send it on some spare tires and not even give a shit and just like do whatever.
Beat on some shit boxes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's so expensive nowadays because like suspension has gone up, the tire prices have gone up, everything is so expensive now.
More expensive than it used to be.
Yeah, right. I mean, racing in general is expensive, but like drifting is like ass because you have to replace tires after every event.
Tires are what? Like $900 for a full set?
That's if you get a nice car.
Yeah.
If you get a cheap car like mine, $100 done for per tire, so like $400. But still, come on a budget, that's still expensive. $400 for one around the track, like a good session for all 4 tires. Yeah,
That is a lot of money.
it sucks.
One set is 1 round.
So usually, like when you for a session, right, like a couple of hours on the track, you'll eat those tires instantly.
Dang.
So it depends on which ones you get, but yeah, they'll be gone for sure.
Do you just manually look at when those tires are toast, or you can kind of feel that, or
feel
are there
it.
sensors?
Oh,
that
you
kind
feel it. Yeah, no, you'll feel it. Now, normally, like with newer cars, there's these things called TPS or TPM. No, TPS, tire pressure sensors. So, but I don't think they affect drifting. I never had a nice car enough to know, like, if the TPS sensor would go, "Hey, bro, your tire pressure is kind of weird when you're drifting." No, I don't think that works that way. You just kind of feel it out.
Right, exactly.
So everything is very analog in drifting. You don't have a lot of like sensors or anything besides like engine, ECU, that sort of stuff, turbo, boost control, all that sort of thing, but not anything related to tires specifically.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure you could hook up something. I mean, even like modern cars with the pressure sensors. I mean, you could feed that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It goes through the ECU. So the ECU is like the electronic computer of the car that monitors like air fuel ratio, again, tire pressure sensor, like oil pressure.
Anything with a sensor, or
Pretty
like
much.
goes through the fuse box and all that.
Well, it goes through the ECU, and then
Okay.
the fuses manage all the electrical stuff.
Separate. Got it.
Right.
Is there any way to hijack that signal? An outbound
Remotely? Yes.
API or anything?
I believe so, yeah. I
Really?
think there's ways to do that. Like, since it's all computerized, you could plug up maybe like a remote sensor to the computer that goes through an antenna. I'm pretty sure Formula One racers have that. Like, it goes through an antenna, and then like, I don't know, like a race
Definitely.
box or something like that can see that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Get those
they
data.
absolutely monitor every aspect of these cars in endurance racing and F1, everything from the air intake to actually how fast a specific tire is being worn down. They might even make a slight adjustment on the wings to make a different downforce so one tire doesn't wear down more.
Wow.
So yeah, they absolutely know what the tire pressure is. They monitor, like I said, everything about those cars. And like Chris said, looking at the stats and the output, this is actually some stuff I found today. There's an open API for F1. You can monitor their brake, whether a brake pedal is being pressed, and there's a rating between 100 and 0, so you can actually see how hard it's being pressed. The driver number, if they're using DRS, the drag reduction system that they'll oftentimes use on straightaways, so you can monitor that. The RPMs, the speed, the throttle. I mean, there is just a ton of stats here, and you could literally go to this openf1.org. It's not endorsed by F1 or has any actual affiliation with it, but somebody did take the time to make this API that you could literally run the JSON wizard in XI and start to get some of these stats. On the World Endurance Championship side, after I found the F1, I'm like, what else is out there? Because IndyCar is really popular and all these really rely on technology. So I was kind of thinking, they monitor everything from a team perspective in the league and all the stewards that look over making sure the cars aren't breaking the rules. But this really gives fans an opportunity to nerd out on it. And you can check like the stints, how long a driver is out there on the track.
It's insane.
I mean, you could literally just see everything about this, put some multi-stack graphs on if you have 3 drivers to check their drive time, because they have minimum and maximum times that they have to be on the track and driving in these races. So this is just like a really cool way that you could actually utilize XI to monitor like all these API endpoints. There's just a ton of them in here, but yeah, that's definitely one cool way that you could use this as a fan to keep track of what's going on. So I've only been into this stuff for about a year, and yeah, it's hard to keep up. There's so many teams, obviously limited manufacturers, but hundreds of drivers, hundreds of teams.
A lot going on.
Yeah, and they all kind of cross, even though they're in different leagues, they all kind of end up at this 24 hours of Le Mans. So
One of my favorite things is like body roll metrics.
Yeah.
So like it's like a circle, and then like when a car accelerates, you see that it goes down, and then it'll create like a point on the graph, and then when it goes up, when it's braking, so it kind of like measures like body roll. It again goes in with like tire wear and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Super cool. They should have had it back in like Group C days, man. Bring back Group C.
yeah.
Group C was the best.
Why was it
Group
the
6.
best?
Because that's when manufacturers could go balls to the walls and not have any rules, man. Like you know the Chaparral 2J race car?
I don't.
So back in the day, they had this car that had a snowmobile motor that would suck air, and from the bottom of the car keep it planted. It had like 2 jet engines on the back.
Yeah.
Do some research. Put a like little image of it up
Put it
there.
right here.
Yeah, put a little image. This is called the Chaparral 2J.
whole
That's back in the day.
I'll put it over your face.
Yeah, the Chaparral 2J right here. Both engines right here. But no, that's when like racing was like just straight up no rules. That's when like, you know, stuff like the 4-rotor was coming out with the 787B, the Chaparral 2J, snowmobile engine. That's when like manufacturers really just had prototype cars. Now it's like streamlined with Formula One, right? So it's like more like everybody has to do it exactly the same way, which is, you know, that's fair. But that's when manufacturers like Mazda, fucking Chaparral, BMW could really innovate. Like the Mazda, or in what was it? Mercedes-Benz Sauber C9 had like a V12 engine in there. Man, it was so crazy. It was dangerous, but it was crazy. It was fun.
Some classes in FIA and IMSA, they still have that. So they've got the GTP, so that's the prototype class. And then in World Endurance Championship, they have the hypercar class, where essentially manufacturers can do anything they want. You could have a 1-cylinder hydrogen car if you wanted to. Most of them have hybrid electric with turbos, but Aston Martin are kind of on that no rules. They're like, we're just going to do a big old V12. And so they just got the big Valkyrie class that's just chugging through, and you hear the high-end turbos running, and it's like, mew, mew, mew. And then all of a sudden you get the big V12 just comes ripping. So it's definitely a crowd favorite, but that's once again another thing that makes the sport interesting is it has all these classes. And as Chris mentioned, a lot of them just get so retained. They keep these classes so tight, like especially the manufacturers classes that are more or less cars that we could technically buy, but they have amped up suspension, but otherwise everything else is as it would come from the manufacturer. They're all racing at the same time as these hypercars and these prototype cars. So that's part of the challenge. There might be 2 or 3 different classes racing at the same time on the same track. So basically picture like a high school football team, a college football team, and an NFL football team all playing on the same field at the same time. And so it's just
so
mayhem out there. But
put the Mini Cooper with a jet engine on the same racetrack.
So that's part of the part of
bus.
Oh, that's awesome.
Send it. There's also hill climb too. So hill climb has like very like less like lenient rules. You can just throw anything on that track. Hill climb. You know what hill climb is?
I don't.
So it's like kind of like rally, like Group B, but there's one car, it's called the Escudo Pikes Peak. It had like 750 horsepower. It was like this giant wing, big red car, huge. If you're a fan of Gran Turismo 2, it's like the #1 car you choose. Stupidly huge wing, planted down to the ground, rally car, but they are designed to go straight uphill. Nothing else, as fast as they can, no rules. And then it's a peak. So if you drive the car over a cliff, you're just, fumbling a little bit, that sort of thing. But yeah,
That's pretty fun.
Back in the day.
Basically just monstrous torque.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those things are killer. So much aerodynamics, even more than a Formula One car, just like all front end aerodynamics. The whole entire car is just a giant wing just going straight up.
Oh, wow. I would like to see that. It does sound good.
Oh, that's pretty cool. But it's interesting how easy it is to monitor these cars, though, with the computers that are already in them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't even have to add much to have it output API and stuff, right?
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Absolutely. There's I know for my Miata particularly, they developed like a screen for the dash. So you can take the whole cluster out. You can have an actual dash, and it's a Raspberry Pi powered. And you just grab metrics of what the ECU is pulling out. So like if you're like, I don't know, you're hitting the gas on the car and you see like your RPMs are going up, that's a statistic. You can like send that out. You can send that data straight to Nagios or something like that instantly. Like how many RPMs are you hitting, or brakes,
That's pretty
all
good.
that sort of stuff.
Then you could probably use it to tune, right?
Yes, well, the ECU is made for tune. Every car has like a ECU in it, and most of them are stock, so you can't really play around with it. So that's why you would like take that one out and get like a custom ECU that you can like do that sort of stuff with. But I knew for a fact, like my regular daily car, I can't really grab metrics from it because it's like locked down from a software perspective. But you can get like a Haltech or a Megasquirt ECU or something like that. They're expensive as hell, but once you get them, then you can like really tune the engine down to the core. You can even brick your engine essentially if you wanted to, like completely fuck it up, like just like send nothing but fuel in the engine and just completely dynamite it. Have you seen like when people are like tuning cars and they're like hitting like a GTR like on the dyno, that thing just like explodes instantly because they didn't tune it correctly? Right. So yeah, you can monitor all that sorts of stuff. You can get dyno tune. You can do like anything you can think of. Formula One in particularly has a lot more metrics that they can manage, and then it's like almost like impeccable. It's almost like it would make no sense not to manage and monitor that, since it's more of a tight constricted racing class, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody has like very, very like strict rules. Then using that data is like almost advantageous in every aspect to grab all that data that you need, tire wear, that sort of stuff. Because like aerodynamics, like you were saying, affects tire wear. When you're going around corners, how much of that tire wear? And tire wear is like, when, at least from what I remember, I mean, I was never a race car driver, but when I was playing like Gran Turismo, when I had super soft tires, I could go on sprints, so I can be ahead of the pack every time. Right. And I had to come up with a pit strategy to make sure I was always ahead of the cars, and like making sure that I had like the aerodynamics set up on my car perfectly to make sure that my tire, when I was using these soft tires, so I wouldn't use like the tires as much. So my car would still be grippy as hell, but I wouldn't use it because like super soft tires, you'll eat up in like 2 laps. So like stuff like that. So if I could grab metrics, like each different track is different. So it'll be like different like aerodynamics categories and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But once you grab those metrics, then you can actually strategize pit times. You can figure out when you need to pit, when you don't need to pit, what tires I should use in this quarter of the race, vice versa. So having that data, like especially in a tight knit class like that, almost completely advantageous.
Yeah, I mean, monitoring statistics and all that is extremely valuable in a racing scenario in a setting like that. So honestly, using XI would be very advantageous. I wonder, what do they use already for statistics, leaderboards, and stuff like that?
I mean, you can kind of tell by the sponsorships that you see on a lot of these cars, a lot of the bigger names that you'll see as sponsorships. So maybe we'll talk to the money holders at Nagios here, maybe see if we can sponsor a car, because some of the manufacturers that are in these races are Nagios customers, but I'm doubting that they're using Nagios in like the racing side of their divisions. But
Bugatti sponsorship?
Bugatti?
Like an EB110? Nagios Blue? Baby Blue? Nagios 7 and EB110 maybe?
yeah, see if we can make it happen.
Probably not.
Probably not. It's a bit expensive to get into, I'd imagine.
Right. But I mean, for us, that's definitely a market for sure. I mean,
See these big monitors, these guys are monitoring, we talked a lot about the cars, but there's walls that are just in charge of looking at the weather patterns that are coming in, because got to decide if you want to put on some wet tires if you're on like hards or mediums or softs.
Right.
You're going to want to put on some wets if like the rainstorm's coming in. So there's people literally monitoring the weather that's coming in. And yeah, all that data is incredibly important to the teams. Like Chris was saying in the F1, every choice they make is completely data driven. That Aston Martin V12 I was talking about, they're actually new with that Valkyrie team this year. And I heard one of the drivers say, because they've been kind of coming in towards the bottom of the pack overall, but they don't have the data to make those choices. And the driver said, yeah, the first 2 or 3 years is really about collecting the data. So like they're obviously they want to win, but they're really out there just collecting data for like 2 or 3 years, driving these cars, trying to see how they turn, like how they're burning through tires, because they don't have any data to make any actual game plans. And tire strategy is one of the biggest factors in winning a race, because you have to decide of how many mediums or softs. Like Chris said, there's advantages and disadvantages. One's going to be a little faster. Some are going to burn through quicker. You have to kind of weigh it out. Sometimes they'll do a combination. If there's more right turns or left turns on a track, they might favor the harder tires on the one side that has the dominant amount of turns. It's all about tire management and making those decisions, especially when you're talking about a 8 or 10 or 12 or 24 hour long race. There's a lot of data that goes into that. F1's like 90 minutes or 100 minutes and a race is done. I mean, it's a lot of stress and a lot of speed, but just amplify that by 5 or 6 or 10 times is essentially the same cars just banging it out for like up to 24 hours. So
That's crazy. How are they collecting all this data? Do they just have their own proprietary stuff that they're hooking up?
yeah, I mean, they have the sensors, and probably similar to how this openf1.org works is there's an API and they have specific ones that go to the people that are watching over to make sure nobody's breaking the rules, and the teams themselves. Typically, they wouldn't make this stuff available to the public, which is why there's a lot of people out on like GitHub and, this guy that made this. And it's, just definitely a lot of sensors, and it all goes out it's all outputted to their different booths. I even saw one race, and I don't think all the teams do this, but the driver had 2 dedicated doctors, and before the race, he swallowed a pill that was a sensor where they were actually monitoring his sweat throughout his entire stint. So they were monitoring his sweat output to determine the most effective beverage to give him post-race to get his hydration. Fuck? Yeah, it's like, how much trust do you have to put in your team?
What the hell?
Yeah, so when I say they monitor everything, they monitor everything.
Well, think about it this way. One wing on a Formula One car is like, what, $2 million or something like that? They're stupid expensive. Right. The cars are like dumb expensive. And like, to piggyback on what you were saying, like those metrics and stuff like that, I know this doesn't like completely relate, but back in the day when, like, again, I was playing Gran Turismo 4, they had these A-spec like 24-hour races. So you had to actually play the game for 24 hours in a race, right? It was either that or it was a B-spec race where you let the computer do it, right? Yeah. So you tell the computer, hey, I want these tires at this time, blah, blah, blah. And online, there's people on like these old forums that would be like, use this car, use these tires, use this strategy, use this, and you'll win the race, guaranteed.
Those are the people collecting that data.
Yeah, they would collect that data.
They were doing the pill that measures your sweat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gran Turismo.
And see, when I was a kid, on my little PS2 memory card, it was a flex to have the Formula One race car in Gran Turismo 4, because that was like a status thing as a kid, like as a little like racing simulator. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. So I went online and I was like, oh, so if I use this car in this race and do this and this and this, then I'll have the Formula One race car, right? And yeah, it was a huge flex, and it was crazy because I remember using the Ford GT40 on like a specific race with specific tire setup. Like the car was guaranteed to win 100%. And then they actually had like stats of like how guaranteed your chances of winning those races were. Like those guys were sweaty.
Yeah,
like
no kidding.
Super sweaty. The racing is a super sweaty thing. No pun intended for the pill, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's hard when you start the engines, you got all the endurance. I mean, especially if you're in one of those cars, it's why you see like the first corner a lot of times, it's people get all that adrenaline.
Oh yeah, I love it.
That's why
the first corner when the car goes yink.
Yeah, so, especially when it's like a 24-hour race, it's like before you win, you have to make it to the end. So it's like all these people that crash on the first corner. It's just the excitement gets them.
Oh, Monaco. That first turn. Oh, I love that. Yeah. You know about Monaco's first turn?
Is that the GIF where all the cars are just completely piled in?
Usually, yeah. Like Monaco's like a hard left or hard right in like a first corner. Monaco's that racetrack where it's like kind of like near like all the boats and stuff, and it kind of goes around a bridge a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that first turn every time, every like game I've played with Monaco, and it's like every car in that first turn. In Germany, Nuremberg, I don't know, it's called Nurschlift, Nuremberg racetrack. They call it the Green Hell. Like, I don't know how many kilometers that racetrack is, but I had the privilege of driving on it.
Oh, wow.
Like in Germany, and oh my God, it is so much fun. It's too intense. But you have to be careful. If you wreck on that track, right? If you wreck on it, you pay per kilometer. So if your car slides out, you pay the slide, like the actual like rubber hitting the tire, you know, like the tire marks. You pay per kilometer skid mark. You pay for the safety car. You pay per kilometer if you hit the rail and hit the guiding rail. You pay per kilometer to replace each section of that rail.
Wow.
So it was really like expensive. Germany plays no games. You're paying that, right?
Yeah.
And then you pay for the safety car. It's a bonus feature if your car dumps fuel onto the racetrack, because Germany's very like meticulous about fuel and like, you know, radiator stuff. You pay extra for that. So if you hit your radiator and there's like radiator fluid on the ground, oh yeah, it's additional fine. Pay.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
I'd probably still do it because that's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're an eraser and you're actually just hitting these courses all the time. But
So there's a lot of grass, but in some sections, like there's no grass and it's just literally you and the wall. So it was fun.
yeah, some of those courses are really unforgiving.
Oh yeah, for sure. What's Laguna Seca? I want to drive that. Laguna Seca has that like corkscrew.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Yeet."
it's like a 10-foot or a 10-story drop corkscrew within 135 feet. So yeah, that's a wild ride, I bet.
I always used to push the AI off the track around that corner, just like give him a nudge around that corkscrew and just watch them go like this.
Whenever I played NASCAR on the N64, I would drive the opposite way and try to ram the other car.
Oh, yo, dude, that's a like,
Oh yeah, that was a game.
that's just a normal thing to do as a kid. What you mean, right? And then watch the car like flip like 50 times.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
stuff.
no, that's like, you have to. That's a rite of passage as a young man. Just to go the opposite. Like, fuck this. You know what? Let's see what happens.
Let's play Crasher. We're gonna do a real race. We're gonna play Crasher. One person turns around and just.
I always loved the commentaries on those old games too, and how the graphics were just all Dorito chips. Like it was all.
Yeah, 30 polygons per car, not even. Because there was like 30 cars. Oh, good times.
Right.
But-
But if you ever heard of this thing called BeamNG Drive,
Yep.
you've heard of it, right?
Yeah.
Think about all those metrics that BeamNG can give. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have like all those little like dashboard things, the little like they're actually like dashlets and dashboards similar to how Nagios has it. But like we can grab that data from those vehicles, everything, and we can monitor it completely.
Yeah.
So if you guys ever play BeamNG Drive, it's like a car racing crashing simulator. There's a lot of metrics in that game, a lot. And it's basically the same in real world racing.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just moving it over.
measuring like force against the frame of the car to bend it specific ways, like a real car.
See, now he's being sadistic at that point. Like, he's being evil.
It's interesting.
Why do you want to know that in particular? You want to break a couple of cars?
No.
People with
It's a fun game.
It is a fun game.
It's a fun game.
It's fun when it's not real.
Right. I was like putting like 2 jet engines on a Toyota Supra and just launching it straight into the wall.
Or the bus down the dam and then hitting the lake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, using XI to monitor stuff like this is an interesting subject just because there is a lot of statistics-driven stuff going on.
Going back to this openf1.org, I see he charges. You can fill out a form and get a paid account. So the historical data is free. It requires no authentication, but they do have real-time data access if you create an account on them. And so then you could just use the JSON wizard or the XML wizard.
Well, it's interesting using XI as a fan to monitor these statistics and compare racers and stuff.
That would be so much fun.
incredible. Like with
Honestly,
the
yeah.
line chart showing different statistics and then overlaying with like different colors for different racers.
Basically be like one of those stock people that looks at monitors all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, just have them up.
Oh, one thing could be like regular sports, like, you know, football and stuff. You can get like fucking Vikings people in on like stats like that. I don't know how you do that, but there's some money in that, I'm pretty sure.
Put some diodes on the players and just
Some diamonds, like, hey, sir, can I talk to you real quick? What are you doing? Inject them with something. Like,
with little syringe full of man wishing.
We're getting into like a Black Mirror episode.
right, low key. Like, and then like the people are gambling the players, like, you know how like they
also
were
using
using like
XI.
F1. They're probably gambling like, you know, F1s. Like there's probably some kind of thing.
Oh, there's definitely gambling
like,
for
right.
F1.
I'm pretty sure they're like using all this data and just be like gambling which racer is gonna come in at certain amounts of time and stuff. Oh,
But yeah, really, really cool using XI and just the JSON wizard.
Yeah, just the JSON wizard. You could download the free 7-node XI trial and use that to just follow your F1 races if you wanted to. I mean, that's an option
7-node
for a
is
casual fan. Yeah, the 7-node is free.
well,
so.
7-node 7 racers or
Wait, are you
statistics?
Is it just one node because it's one website outputting all this data?
You know, I just found this about an hour before we started recording, so
Like we're asking him deep questions, like, can you cheese it?
no, I did. I haven't. I believe that they would come up as a service, so that's what it's kind of looking like for me so far on this. Like I said, I only got a little bit of time to hammer, so I've got F1 data, and then under one of the services, I was trying to get, I believe, the speed. I ran into a little bit of an issue and didn't have much time to troubleshoot. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure if each statistic would be a different node, but I believe the main site would be the node, and then each brake or driver number, I believe, should just come up as a service within that. So.
And just like watch tires the whole time. I'm like, that driver's bad. He uses a lot of brakes.
How'd the race go? I don't know, but the tires are worn the fuck
I'm just
out.
saying, like a judgment zone of how like particularly bad each driver is, and then kind of put him on like a shit list. Like, oh, this guy brakes a lot. I wouldn't have him in traffic in front of me because he brakes in a straight going lane. You know those drivers like when you're going down the highway and they're like it's clearly like moving, but they're still pumping the brakes. Right. Get metrics on that. Maybe we can use that for regular people.
The brakes on these. Last weekend was a closed street circuit race in downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
And they did the IMSA race, and then there was an Indy race there the day after that. And they come up down this Jefferson Street, and they will hit 180 miles per hour, and then they have to break down to 39 miles per hour on this coming down to a block, a complete left turn, and then another left turn immediately.
That is a chiropractor's dream right there.
Yeah.
Tell you, just rearrange your whole entire fucking spine at that point. Just gone. The G-forces must be crazy. Really must be snapping all this like.
They strap those guys in there pretty good. I mean, I see all these accidents and they always walk away. I mean, safety's much more
Well, they
advanced.
walk away because probably like their adrenaline at that point is like, oh my god, I didn't feel shit. Gets out of the car and then later next
Goes home, has dinner.
goes home, has dinner.
How was work, honey? He collapses.
Just crash at 180. No biggie.
Man. I think there was a race in Group C with a Mercedes Benz that flew off the track and did like 3 backflips.
Yeah.
Landed in the trees, and I think the driver was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I got out, no problem." I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, there are some wild crashes. It's just amazing to see them get out, whether the car's on fire, they just took like a monstrous crash. That's like, it's always scary to watch.
I remember when I was younger, I always told my family, I was like, what do you want to do when you grow up, son? And there's as a kid, you have like 3 options: firefighter, policeman, or doctor.
Astronaut.
And I was like, dude, I want to be a Group C race car driver. And my parents were like, you're not fucking doing that. And I was like, why not? I really wanted to. They're like, it's dangerous. I'm like, what's dangerous about it? I don't understand. I'm in a car with a roll cage. And they're like, yeah, that's exactly why it's dangerous. In a car with a roll cage. No, you're not doing it. And then they were like, okay, son, the real reason is it's expensive as fuck and we didn't want to do it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Everything's expensive.
Expensive, yeah.
Just do what you love, honestly.
Right. Yeah, totally.
We've had a great discussion. We've had an awesome discussion about Nagios XI, and
the
Le Mans.
we've had great discussions about Le Mans.
Le Mans.
oh,
Lemons.
See, it's fun to say. Just
it is.
Le Mans.
rolls out the tongue. Is that French?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you had as much fun watching as we did having the conversation.
It was a blast.
Yep.
Got a blast.
All right. It was all right. Guys, it's been a blast. I appreciate you coming on and chatting about your experience and enthusiasm for monitoring and motorsport racing. Everybody for watching, thank you as well. Happy monitoring.